The screen on my phone is way too bright for the dim light of my kitchen. It's been sitting there for 10 minutes now, a silent little rectangle of light holding the power to either mend my world or shatter the fragile piece I've spent the last 8 years building. A message from an unknown number. But I know who it is. I feel it in my bones. In the sudden, frantic thumping of a heart I thought had learned to beat slowly. For 8 years, I have been dead to my daughter. For 2,920 days, I have grieved a child who is still alive. And now, it seems, there's a ghost in my phone, and I don't know if I have the strength to read what she has to say. 8 years feels like a lifetime ago. It was a lifetime ago. Back then, my life was, well, it was normal. Ordered. I had a good job, a respectable position at a firm I'd been with for 20 years. I had a wife I loved, and I had my daughter, Chloe. My whole world revolved around her. Everything I did, every long hour at the office, was to build a life for her that was better and safer than my own. I remember teaching her to ride a bike in the park, my hand on the back of the seat, running behind her, promising I wouldn't let go even after I already had. I remember the look of pure pride on her face when she realized she was doing it all on her own. That was the look I lived for. We were close. She was my little girl even when she was a teenager rolling her eyes at my dad jokes. She'd still come to me for advice, for help with homework, or just for a hug. I was her rock. Her provider. It wasn't just my job, it was who I was. Her dad. The man who could fix anything. And then, one Tuesday, I couldn't. Restructuring. That's the clean, sterile word they used for something so brutally messy. They called it downsizing. I called it what it was, being thrown out. At 52 years old, 2 decades of loyalty got me a cardboard box and a handshake that felt more like a shove out the door. The shame was immediate. All-consuming. It felt like a physical weight pressing down on my chest, making it hard to breathe. And shame is a poison, it seeps into everything. It changes how you walk, how you talk, how you look at yourself in the mirror. I told my wife, of course. But telling Chloe, that was different. She was in her first year of university, full of fire and ambition. Her whole life, she'd seen me as a success. Now, I had to tell her I was a failure. Her reaction wasn't what I expected. There was no hug, no "it'll be okay, Dad." It was just, quiet. A cold, unnerving quiet. In the weeks that followed, the distance between us grew. Phone calls got shorter. Visits were postponed and then just cancelled. She was always busy with studies, with friends, with anything that wasn't me. The one time I pressed her, the one time I asked her why she was pulling away, her words hit me like a punch to the gut. I can't be around this, she said, her voice tight. This energy. This, failure. Failure. There it was. The word I feared most, coming from the person I loved most. A few weeks later, my calls went straight to voicemail. My texts were left unread. Then, they stopped going through at all. She blocked me. Just like that, the daughter I'd raised, the child whose world I had built, cut me out of it. She treated me like I was dead. And in a lot of ways, a part of me did die. It's a special kind of hell, grieving someone who is still out there, just living her life without you. And now, this message. 8 years later. My thumb hovers over the screen, and the last decade of my life flashes before my eyes. The first few years were the hardest. Every holiday was a fresh wound. Her birthday would roll around, and I'd spend the day staring at my phone, fighting the urge to type a message I knew she'd never see. Christmas felt like a joke, with that empty chair at the dinner table screaming at me. I saw pictures on my wife's Facebook of Chloe's graduation. There she was, smiling in her cap and gown. I wasn't there. I became a ghost at my own daughter's milestones. The shame Chloe had accused me of just dug in. It became a part of me. When old friends asked about her, I'd mumble something vague about her being busy at school. Nobody talks about family estrangement. It feels like this giant, personal failing you have to hide from the world. The stress ate me alive. I developed anxiety. Some days, the depression was so heavy it was a victory just to get out of bed. My identity as a father and a provider was gone, and I had no idea who I was without it. Slowly, painfully, I started to rebuild. I got a job at a local hardware store. It didn't pay much, but it was honest work. It was a reason to get up in the morning. I started gardening. There was something simple and good about nurturing something and watching it grow, a feeling I was afraid I'd lost forever. I found a quiet rhythm. The grief never really went away, but it became background noise instead of the blaring siren it once was. I found a fragile kind of peace. And this message threatens to shatter it all. My head is a war zone. Part of me, the dad part of me, feels this surge of desperate hope. What if she's sorry? What if she's finally ready to talk? I know that for us to ever have a chance, we'd have to actually acknowledge the past and try to build something new. Maybe this is it. The love I have for her, buried under years of pain, is still there. A stubborn ember that a single word from her could coax back into a flame. But another part of me, the part that remembers her silence, is terrified. What if it's not an apology? What if she just needs money? What if it's some casual, hey text that shows she has no clue about the chasm she blew open in my life? That would be a new kind of pain, proof that the last 8 years of my agony meant nothing to her. I've worked so hard to heal, to find some self-worth that doesn't depend on her. Am I strong enough to risk that? Am I ready to face her, only to be rejected all over again? I'm just paralyzed here, in the quiet of my kitchen, with my entire world locked inside a single, unopened message. Hope versus fear. Love versus self-preservation. I honestly don't know what the right thing to do is. Have any of you ever been here? Faced a choice that could lead to incredible healing or just unbearable pain? What would you do? I'm genuinely asking. Tell me in the comments, because right now, I feel completely lost. My heart is pounding against my ribs. I feel like I'm standing on the edge of a cliff. I could turn back to the quiet, predictable life I've built for myself. A life of managed sadness, maybe, but a stable one. Or I could take a leap of faith into the total unknown. 8 years of silence, or 8 years of peace? I'm not sure I know the difference anymore. My finger trembles as it hovers over the screen. There's a ghost in my phone, and she has my daughter's name. I have to know. I have to know if my daughter is still in there, too. I take a deep, ragged breath, and I press down.